Hey, what's going on, guys? It is Dives, Mr. Crockpot on Twitter. Welcome to my 2023 NFL Draft Edge Rusher rankings, guys. If you are new to the channel, please be sure to smash that subscribe button. Let's go. Before we get into my top 10, let's talk about an honorable mention, and that is Bralen Trice out of Washington. Bralen Trice is a true breakout star for the Washington Huskies and holds a spot in our honorable mentions. He's got 6.5 sacks, 9.5 tackles for loss at this point in the 2022 season. He's been one of the most productive edge rushers in college football. Particularly as a pass rusher, he's proven himself to be incredibly disruptive. Bralen Trice has solid measurables at 6'4" and 270 pounds. Trice is essentially a block of aggression rushing the edge. A dense, hyper-compact ingot of energy, he surges into tackles and generates speed to power with brutal force. Unfortunately, however, Trice doesn't have that much bend to go with his excellent burst and power. But as a big-bodied edge rusher with rare knockback power and violent hands, he has plenty of peel and upside. I've got a rounds 2 to 3 grade on Bralen Trice. Let's watch some highlights.
Brooks in the backfield, so no Ott on this drive. Plummer takes a shotgun snap, pressured and goes down. All the way back in midfield, and once again. Calendar year since the Huskies have won a game away from home. Play fake for Plummer. Steps up. Plummer now is going to be hit from behind and sacked.
Empty set for Daniels. Pressure coming off the edge. Daniels eludes the tackler, but can't get away from Bralen Trice.
All right, let's get into my top 10 rankings, leading off with Felix Anudike-Uzomah out of Kansas State. If you're looking for truly clinical pass rushing tape, you can't do much better than Kansas State's Felix Anudike-Uzomah. Here's a guy with exceptional burst and twitch and enough length to channel power and drive through blockers. He's got elite bend and control coming off the edge with violent hand usage. He's got a plethora of counters and move combinations visible when watching tape, whether that's inside-outside moves, bull rushes, swims, euro steps, double swipes, it's all there. He can put tackles on a string, and if you send help with a running back, he'll bowl through them with similar aggression. He's 6'4", 255 pounds, and he looks the part. His long arms allow him to swallow up rushers coming at him, but they also allow him to control blocks against offensive tackles. This is a guy who flashes strength at the point of attack with active and violent hands. He's tough, competitive, and versatile. As a run defender, Anudike-Uzomah continues to be a bit raw and a little undisciplined at times. Right now, I've got a rounds 1 through 2 grade on Anudike-Uzomah. Let's watch some highlights. Coming in number 9 in my rankings is Andre Carter out of Army. Andre Carter has missed some time this season, and his production has declined as he learns how to handle that extra attention as expected in 2022. While Andre Carter's stock continues to be all about upside, it's an intriguing mix of foundational skills for a developmental pass rusher that should get him enough buzz for round 1 or round 2. Andre Carter's 2022 production pales in comparison to last year, which saw him stack up 41 tackles, 17 tackles for loss, 14.5 sacks, an interception, 2 pass deflections, and 4 forced fumbles. But if the root of a player's evaluation is his traits, Andre Carter still brings plenty to like. At 6'7", 260 pounds, Carter is a rare athlete with elite length. Some players with that size struggle to lower themselves and manage their frame, but that's not the case with Andre Carter. For his build, he's incredibly bendy and flexible, and he's got that agility to play both in space and offset tackles on the rush. This is one of the less refined pass rushers on the list, but I find it hard to think that the right NFL coach can't turn this dude into a star at the next level. Right now, I've got a rounds 1 through 2 grade on Andre Carter. Let's watch some highlights. Coming in number 8 in my rankings is Jared Verse out of Florida State. Although an injury has slowed him down a bit after a hot start in 2022, Jared Verse has still been an explosive force when he's on the field. Despite missing some time, he leads the ACC in tackles for loss and leads the Seminoles in sacks. This is a guy with excellent athleticism, active hands, and power through his frame. Verse is one heck of an explosive athlete off the edge. After transferring from Albany to Florida State this past offseason, he's earned an 85.2 pass rushing grade per PFF despite playing through a knee injury. Verse has the tools to potentially be one of the first 5 edge rushers off the board, and he's delivered on that talent with production in 2022. With 5.5 sacks and 12 tackles for loss in 8 games this far, he also clearly looks the part at 6'4" and 249 pounds with great length. Verse's ability to win with burst, bend, and strong hand usage all in one is even more impressive. Right now, I've got a rounds 1 through 2 grade on Jared Verse. Let's watch some clips.
Who was a non-scholarship player last year. That is blocked. He had made earlier, and now Jared Verse.
4 points here.
Daniels couldn't spin out of that. Jared Verse,
being the true freshman who's going to be a great one in time, and Will Campbell. But Jaden Daniels escaped so many times today. That's obviously where LSU's trying to get.
Daniels, 28 seconds. Oh, and he's sacked. They do have the one timeout, as is Jared Verse doing damage again.
You cannot get beat outside. The right tackle cannot get beat outside. You got help inside. Your guards are in there. Overset, if anything else, and funnel that pass rusher inside to where your boy Anthony Bradford can help you out. You cannot get beat around the edge.
Coming in number 7 in my rankings is BJ Ojulari out of LSU. No one in the SEC has a better pass rush win rate than BJ Ojulari, who has missed a few games this season due to injury. He's a bit undersized, and that shows up in the run game, but he has elite speed and dip as a pass rusher with noticeable bursts to close in quickly on the quarterback. Ojulari is a true finesse pass rusher at 6'3" and 244 pounds with swift explosiveness, lateral agility, and bend to be a nightmare for tackles at the next level. The sheer mobility and quickness at which Ojulari pressures angles is what sells his profile the most for NFL scouts. This is an explosive athlete with good burst at the snap of the football. He's got excellent closing speed and short area quickness. However, his overall play strength can improve, and he generally wins with his plus speed and quickness at the college level. That needs to change. In run defense, he can get overwhelmed, and he at times doesn't take the best angles to the ball. He needs to be more consistent. There are moments where he looks like he's the best in the country as an edge rusher. Then there are segments where you can't even find him on the football field. However, right now I've got a first-round grade on BJ Ojulari. Let's watch some highlights.
3rd and 12 for Ashford. 3-man rush, and Ojulari gets free and tracks him down. BJ Ojulari, one of the very best in the SEC, and Harold Perkins coming after him.
He could play in the SEC first and foremost, but also be close to home. He said he is so thankful Brian Harsin gave him this opportunity and allowed him to...
Came out there. Jay Ward's returning it for LSU. Flag is down at the 22. Ojulari had a strip sack, fumbled the ball to Ashford, and Ward returned it for what stands right now as a touchdown pending the penalty flag.
Young, swarmed and sacked. There was early pressure.
Coming in number 6 in my rankings is Nolan Smith out of Georgia. While Nolan Smith is unquestionably a first-round talent, the season-ending pec injury he suffered against Florida might complicate his draft projection. Due to this injury, Nolan Smith will most likely be one of the more polarizing draft prospects during this process. He has all the measurables you want out of a day 1 pick, minus the production. Nolan Smith is an elite athlete and a former 5-star recruit with rare bursts and twitch. He's got exciting bend capacity, and his pursuit speed in space is outrageous. However, the downside is he doesn't have elite length and power at 6'3" and 235 pounds. While he shows off exceptional play strength and leverage in run support, he's still inconsistent with using all of those elite traits to get to the quarterback. When it comes to Nolan Smith, it's all about upside. This was the number 1 overall recruit in the 2019 class. And the questions remain. What is his ceiling as a pass rusher? Could his best role at the next level be a hybrid Sam role, where he can both play in space and attack downhill? He needs to improve his hand usage and expand his pass rushing arsenal. Nolan Smith doesn't have a full set of moves and counters to employ consistently, but I still think he's got enough to be a first-round pick in the upcoming 2023 draft. Let's watch some highlights. Coming in number 5 in my rankings is Lucas Van Ness out of Iowa. The 6'5", 275-pound redshirt sophomore is nicknamed Hercules, and his feats of strength are impressive. Highlights of Van Ness show him overwhelming some of the top offensive tackles in this year's class, like Peter Skoronski and Paris Johnson Jr. He attacks off the edge like a grizzly bear, using his initial quickness, body flexibility, and powerful hands and reach to beat blocks both inside and out. He's flexible enough to bend the edge, and he's at his best when he can use his quickness and change of direction abilities to counter back inside. His spin move is already NFL caliber, and he displays an extremely high motor. As a pass rusher, he shows quickness off the line. He combines excellent power with initial quickness, but one of his best attributes are his violent hands, which he uses with impressive precision. It's also important to note that Van Ness is a big-time special teamer, as we have seen a pair of block punts that he had against Iowa State. Areas of improvement-wise, he needs to get better against the run. While Van Ness has all the power, length, and movement skills to be an outstanding run defender, his block recognition skills have room for improvement. Right now, I've got a round 1 grade on Lucas Van Ness. Let's watch some highlights.
Put Tracy in motion. O'Connell in trouble, and he goes down! Lucas Van Ness.
Coming in number 4 in my rankings is Isaiah Foskey out of Notre Dame. Foskey is bendy with long arms and tons of potential. He plays with a lot of explosion. He's a good run defender, and he was a former tight end in high school, and that natural athleticism absolutely pops off tape. Foskey's 2022 campaign has been hot and cold at times this year. He started out a bit slow out the gate. He had a lull midway through the season, and he hasn't quite shown the consistency I would like to see out of this dude. He's got very good snap anticipation and timing to consistently dominate offensive linemen off the edge. Foskey needs to improve his bend off the edge, and he needs to continue refining himself as a pass rusher. However, his explosiveness and foot speed off the line are still elite at 6'5" and 260 pounds. He still flashes brutal, surgical hand usage against tackles and has one of the vastest arsenals in this class. With a little more polish and a little more refinery, this could be one to watch for come draft night, with upside being the top 20 of the 2023 class. Right now, I've got a round 1 grade on Isaiah Foskey. Let's watch some highlights.
Playing some soft zone behind it.
Here's Freeman with pressure in his face. Isaiah Foskey drops him for a sack. Movement on Notre Dame here. 4th and 6, and they want to go. Here's Freeman, pressure in his face, more pressure in his face, and down goes Freeman. Isaiah Foskey got there first.
Isaiah Foskey showing up big.
And Brandon Joseph once again back deep to receive. And this punt is blocked. A free run shot through Isaiah Foskey. Now here's Nichols on the punt. See if he can roll. Blocked again. Irish diving on top of it inside the 15-yard line. You want to block Isaiah Foskey. We got another one.
Coming in number 3 in my rankings is Tyree Wilson out of Texas Tech. At 6'6", 270 pounds, Tyree Wilson is big, long, and strong. He is more powerful than crafty, and he's got long striding acceleration. Because of his unbelievable length and improved secondary moves, it is easy to underestimate his closing speed in the pocket or when he's chasing ball carriers outside. He ranks number 2 in college football with 41 quarterback pressures. In just 9 games, Tyree Wilson has already eclipsed his production from last season. He has 59 tackles, 14 tackles for loss, 7 sacks, a forced fumble, and just tons of pressures beyond the surface stats. Power and aggression are the 2 biggest traits Tyree Wilson builds his game around. And as he continues to add to his arsenal of pass rushing moves, and after he dominates the Senior Bowl, which I can't wait to see, I expect to hear Tyree Wilson's name called in the first round of the 2023 NFL Draft. Let's watch some highlights.
Left, Houston is the running back. Larry's got time again in the pocket, now steps up, now thrown down.
A bit of concern in their eyes when it came to Tyree and the impact that he could have on this game. And seeing if they could possibly force a turnover.
On 3rd down, Leary steps up, down he goes. Now in his 3rd season as a Red Raider, and McDonough will punt.
And he's showing that first round potential today. Tremendous finish. Orange pulling it out late.
Coming in number 2 in my rankings is Myles Murphy out of Clemson. This is the Trey Walker of the 2022 NFL Draft. At 6'5" and 275 pounds, Myles Murphy has crazy long arms and elite speed for his size. He's got a lot of production to back that up. He leads Clemson in tackles for loss and sacks. This is a toolsy prospect who brings great athleticism and major bursts off the line. Murphy does most of his winning with his raw strength and power. He's got near elite acceleration capacity for his 6'5" frame. Myles Murphy can improve his handwork as well as not being overly reliant on his bull rush at the next level. I expect Murphy to put up similar combine numbers to last year's first overall pick Trayvon Walker and get a ton of buzz in the coming months. The difference here is Myles Murphy is a tier ahead of Trey Walker at this point in the draft process. He's not going to be that major riser Walker was when he was initially in the back of the first round, or maybe even a day 2 prospect heading into the combine. Myles Murphy is absolutely legit, and I have a top 10 grade on this guy. I am in love with Myles Murphy. Let's watch some highlights. No surprise here. Number 1 edge rusher on my rankings is Will Anderson out of Alabama. What makes Will Anderson elite is his burst off the line. This is a twitch athlete that can change directions at the drop of a hat. Not only is Anderson explosive vertically, but he's also extremely explosive laterally, who can terrorize the quarterback, but also do major damage against the run. He has a terrific blend of raw strength and bend. For weaknesses, Anderson's frame is a little lighter than expected, but that's not really a problem because he should be able to easily gain some more muscle at the next level. This guy's ceiling is outrageous, and if he had entered the 2022 class, he probably would have been the number 1 pick as well. His combination of speed, power, length, burst, and just overall football IQ make him not only a potential number 1 pick, but one of the surest things in the 2023 class. After a truly elite season last year, Will Anderson Jr. hasn't quite been on the same level this season when it comes to surface stats, but he's still tied for 10th in all of college football with 14 tackles for loss, plus he has 8 sacks. His explosiveness, strength, and finishing ability at his weight make him one of the best unicorn-like defenders in this year's class. Right now, I've got a top 5 grade on Will Anderson. Let's watch some highlights. So those are my top 10 edge rushers in the 2023 class. Do you agree or disagree? Let me know down in that comment section. And let me know if there are any other edge rushers I should take a look at. Thank you everyone for watching. Please give me a follow on Twitter at Mr. Crockpot. Stay awesome, everyone.